for this evening, and this is actually going to be a two-part event with Zach. We have tickets available for sale to come back and see him this Saturday, right here at 9 a.m. So we're going to take a couple of minutes to get set up, and we'll get started here in a couple of minutes.
Hey, awesome job.
We're ready.
All right. Everybody excited to be here on this Wednesday night?
Yes.
Come on. I promise you, I'm not going to be like a stand-up comedian, I promise you. But how awesome were those, how awesome was that deal with Tim? That was great. What I loved about that was that he came up and he told you a deal that he had a lot of challenges with. Because he didn't come up and tell you all of the amazing deals that he made, 50, 75K. So that takes a lot for an ego. It's important that we tell all the challenges, especially in real estate. So everybody, I'm Zach Beach. I'm the CEO of Smart Real Estate Coach. We've been around for about 12 years now, buying and selling real estate on creative financing. And we haven't been doing it right in your neck of the woods. So we've been doing it way before it was cool, way before you heard of these different strategies. Just for a raise of hands so I know exactly who we're speaking with here today. Can you give me a raise of hands if you're actively doing real estate deals? Okay, that's awesome. And I want to go ahead and define active, meaning like you've done a real estate deal in the last 6 months. You raise your hand if you've done a real estate deal in the last 6 months. Within the last 90 days. Within the last 30 days. Awesome. I love this. I travel all across the country training people on creative financing, and this room is definitely up there with people that are actually active real estate investors. Raise your hand if you're doing multifamilies right now. Okay, raise your hand if you're doing single families. Flips. Raise your hand if you're doing wholesale deals. Raise your hand if you've done a creative financing deal before. Raise your hand if you don't know what the heck I'm talking about. Okay, fair. I appreciate you, sir. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to play you guys a quick video in here in just a second, but it was about a decade ago. I was a bartender and personal trainer. So that's why I love coming back and speaking at these restaurants and bars, because I was on the other side just 10 years ago before I got to my first real estate deal. But just so you guys can get to know us here a bit, I'm going to go ahead and play you guys a quick video. If there's sound, if there's no sound, I'll go ahead and skip it and roll. By the end of this, you guys will all be wicked smart. I promise you. Now that goes a long way when you're down there in like Alabama or Mississippi or San Diego. But I know you guys are already wicked smart, so we should be fine there. I usually have to do a whole bunch of disclosures too, like I'm from Massachusetts. I'm going to talk fast, right? Or hey, I'm going to show you real estate deals, but I've never been able to figure out how to make you a millionaire in real estate in about 45 minutes. Is that okay? Okay. So I want to know. I know a lot of you guys are doing some real estate deals, but is anybody a little bit frustrated with today's real estate market? Well, we got one honest person all the way in the back. Thank you, sir. Right? The reason why a lot of us are frustrated right now is because there's a lot of deals that do not pan out or pencil out the way they used to, right? Because of high interest rates, because of large down payments, because of bank qualifications. I've done and participated in over 600 creative financing real estate deals. I have never had to personally guarantee debt on any of those. Does anybody have to go through the 2008 crash? Anybody in here? What's funny is, oh, thank you, sir. What's funny is I used to bring that up 4 years ago. Everybody raised their hand. They'd be like, yeah, I was doing it. And now it's like COVID wiped everybody's brain of like 2008 never existed. Did anybody buy real estate during COVID? You can raise your hand. Did anybody get started in real estate during COVID? Oh man, you guys are like the luckiest people in the world. Go ahead, put under contract, you make money. This is great. No. it's important that we continue to work through different cycles. But here, we're going to talk about bridging the gap here today. I'm going to walk through a very specific format, a way in which we've been doing deals for a very long time, and that we're doing deals currently in this market. So none of this is going to be theory, I promise you. We even have one of our, originally one of our students and now one of our coaches, Rick, if you don't mind raising your hand. I'm going to have him share his story a little bit as well, because he's built himself pretty close to a $1 million portfolio without using cash, without using credit, without going to banks. And we're doing it right in your neck of the woods. So if anybody ever said, like, I don't know why anybody would ever sell to me with no money down, or why anybody would 100% seller finance a deal to me, we're doing it right here, right where you guys sit. So today we're going to just share with you our exact strategies here, and we're going to keep rolling. So who's this for? This is going to be somebody that's interested in supplemental income. Is anybody working a W-2 job right now, or are we all like full-time investors? Raise your hand. Don't worry. Does anybody want to quit that W-2 job? Don't worry, your boss isn't here. But he is filming you, so we'll make sure it goes on social media. Replacement income. That's a big thing in which we focus inside our Wicked Smart community. We help people utilize these strategies to eventually replace their income. So if you don't want to be attached to that job forever, then you're in the right place. And then of course your IRA recovered out, or if you simply want to buy your own home. As I mentioned, I was a bartender. I could actually qualify for more of a loan as a bartender than I could as a real estate investor. So when I was out prospecting one day, making phone calls, looking to purchase my own property, I came across this one. Has everybody been to Portsmouth, Rhode Island? How about Newport, Rhode Island? Has there been a Newport? Did you forget you were there? It's usually what happens, I promise. This is where I started. I was bartending at One Pelham East, if you've ever been there before. It's a great place to go at night. Don't go during the day. This property actually came across, I acquired it utilizing one of our creative financing strategies, because I was looking to buy a house for me and my wife, and we just had our newborn, and we were ready to expand our family when I was 24. And we ended up acquiring this property for $2,500 down. This property right here sits on the Secundit River. If you sit on this deck, you get a nice view. So if you're interested in just buying a vacation home, I heard Lake Winnipesaukee is really nice, right? Or you go down to the beach on Lake Hampton. There's lots of ways in order for you to acquire a first home or a second home. Does anybody just want to learn these strategies so they can buy their own property for $2,500? Nobody does. Okay. Can we please get these people more drinks? Jeez. I haven't spoken New England in a long time. You guys are not easy. All right. I always share with people this. So we have over 75 years of real estate experience. My father-in-law, Chris, has anybody ever read our books or listened to our podcast? We have one gentleman in the back. Thank you, sir. Been to any of our events? No, we're like the diamond in the rough right now. This is good. I'm just showing up, like new toy. All right. So my father-in-law, Chris, he got crushed in 2008, so he had to restart his business. Previous to that, he was a broker owner for 18 years. Do we have any brokers in here? Okay, well, yeah, you guys lucked out. Okay, and then he did fix and flip or raise the roof projects. Anybody done any fix and flips besides Tim? And then, yeah, you sell people decent deals, it sounds like.
Awesome deals. Awesome deals.
I got flips right now.
Yeah, do you?
Awesome
okay.
deals.
Yeah. Anybody want to buy a set on seat house? You see this guy. I love it.
Numbers are good.
Yeah, I know. They actually were good. They were good. Love it. But then got crushed in 2008, had to restart his business, started doing creative financing. Why? Because he didn't have cash, he didn't have credit, and he couldn't go to banks. He had about 20-something properties. They all went down to about a third in value. So had to regain it. Me, I came along, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do in life, and started buying real estate this way, joined the family, and then we started building a community, including Rick, who's in the room here, and all of our coaches have at least 4 to 5 years experience just in creative strategies. So we are absolutely stacked when it comes to experience. Here's what this workshop's going to tell you about here today. So I'm going to go through our 3 Paydays system, how you can buy deals without cash or credit. We're going to show you a predictable, scalable, and proven business as we've been doing it now for about 12 years. And I'm going to share with you actual real estate deals. Now, if you come back on Saturday, then we're going to actually spend about 4 hours of diving into these deals, from how to actually speak to a seller to acquire a piece of, or acquire real estate, exactly what to say. Then we're gonna dive into actual deal structures and walking you through it, along with much, much more as well. But we will cover a couple deals here today. So here's what to expect. Number one, I'm gonna walk you through how we sell. So I'm gonna kind of start from the end and work our way backwards, okay? I'm gonna share with you how we sell. Then I'm gonna share with you our 3 payday systems so that way you know how you can get paid from these strategies. So you can stop getting paid one time, and you can start getting paid 3 times. Then I'm gonna share with you how we actually buy our real estate deals utilizing our creative strategies. And then lastly, I'm gonna share with you how we can work together. Because I believe that I'd be doing you an absolute disservice if I taught you all this stuff for 45 minutes, and then I said good luck. At a bare minimum, I wanna make sure that you guys get access to a bunch of free things. So this will be the one time I'll tell you to do this. You guys go ahead and take out your phone. I wanna make sure you guys get something to walk away with here today. Because none of you guys have any idea who the heck we are, I wanna make sure you guys get access to our books, okay? This is our first Amazon best-selling book, Real Estate on Your Terms. This is a book that we interviewed a whole bunch of community members and walked through their deals. And here is our new rules of real estate investing as well. So if you just go ahead and scan that QR code, we'll actually ship you out everything for absolutely free. You actually get physical books. So if anybody's old school like me and likes to read them, or if you just go to smartrealestatecoach.com/New Hampshire 2025. I don't know why we gave such a long QR code or link, so use the QR code instead. Yeah, you can sneak up here if you need to real quick. I know some people are going to absolutely hate me for this, but I want to walk you guys through the risks and challenges of everything we already learned already today. So, does anybody buy rental properties? We know they do. Does anybody buy fix and flips? We know you do. Does anybody do wholesaling? We know. You already told me you do. Well, here's some risks and challenges associated with it. You guys can all agree with me, as I actually do all of these as well. Signing and personally guaranteeing loans. Does anybody have any personally guaranteed loans out there? Other than your house? I know some people that have tens of millions of dollars. And half of you guys, if you're doing rental properties, you do have personally guaranteed loans. Using your own money as a down payment. Has everybody ever done that before? Okay. Does anybody ever had to raise capital? Okay. Maintenance and repairs, hiring contractors, small checks or transactional, right? These are the risks and challenges associated with doing traditional financing. Would you guys all agree with that? Even if you love real estate, can you guys agree that there are risks and challenges? Okay, some people are shaking their head. I appreciate you. All right, so let's talk about actually solving problems then today. So I'm going to actually share with you how there's a large portion of sellers out there that would be more than happy to wait for their money. And there's a significant amount of them out there as well, and they just want to maximize their cash, but they don't necessarily need it today. If you were going to wholesale a real estate deal, would you agree that the seller needs their cash today and is willing to take a very steep discount? That's how it works, right? But how many of you, when you're making your phone calls or prospecting, come across deals that the seller will not take 60 cents on the dollar or 50 cents on the dollar? You guys come across those deals? Well, today I'm going to share with you how you're actually going to utilize those so you don't throw them away as well. And then there's a massive amount of Americans that can't walk into a bank and get a loan. You want to know how many of them? It's roughly 82% of Americans cannot walk into a bank and get a loan. It's roughly 75% of Americans have a 650 credit score or less. You guys believe that?
Wow.
So if you are fixing and flipping a deal and you're selling it on the traditional market, what's the portion of people that you're actually marketing to? It's roughly 18%. Do you believe that? So then the question is, what do you do with the 82%? Well, I'm glad you asked. That's what we're going to talk about here today. Because when I buy a piece of real estate, I actually operate in this market right here. Hey, let's even say I'm wrong, right? Let's say it's actually double. That's maybe 32%. You still would love to figure out a way to operate in the bigger percentage, right? A great business model is go find an underserved audience and serve them, correct? Because I can guarantee you when I share with you what we're doing here today, like when Rick has a real estate deal up here in New Hampshire, and he markets his property the way we market it, he is probably the only person that's marketing it the way that we market it. So I'm going to share with that here in just a moment. So who are those buyers in that 82%? They're self-employed. They're people that had a legitimate hiccup in their credit. There's somebody that had a job change. There's somebody that has bad credit right now or no credit. Quite frankly, Rick did a deal that was, where was that deal where the person gave me $94,000 non-refundable deposit? Exeter, New Hampshire. Does anybody know where that is?
Yep.
Okay. Well, Rick purchased the property on creative financing, sold it the way way I'm going to share with you. You get a $92,000 non-refundable deposit. Maybe we'll share that deal on Saturday. Would anybody want to hear that deal on how Rick found that deal, structured that deal, and got that large of a deposit? Okay. All right. And then lastly, sideline buyers. So people that are never ever going to want to go ahead and qualify for a bank loan. So this is how we sell that. Has anybody ever heard of rent to own?
Yeah.
Has anybody ever sold a property in rent to own?
No.
Has anybody ever had a neighbor or a friend or an uncle tell you that rent to own doesn't work?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'm glad you're tracking with me. I like this. So I'm going to share with you how rent to own actually should be done. Because there's a massive difference between how people do it and then how it should be done. The way most people do it is, I'm going to go ahead and rent a property to somebody, maybe give them a portion of their rent towards their purchase price, in hopes to one day allow them to buy the property. Right? That's how most people actually structure it. Well, what we do is we actually have a program to help people go from not bankable to bankable. So what does that mean? That means that we actually have to help somebody have the behaviors of a buyer. Because a tenant is a tenant for a reason. Because they act like a tenant. A buyer is a buyer for a reason because they make good buying decisions. Would you guys agree?
Yes.
Okay, so we need to show people how to put down a large deposit, how to increase the down payment, how to make payments on time, how to maintain the property, how to keep up the property, how to build equity into a property. So that way they eventually can increase their credit score and go qualify for a bank loan. So that's exactly what we do on a daily basis. So why would a buyer do this? They have some benefits here. The buyer gets to enjoy the home during their lease period. Just like I bought my house in Portsmouth, Rhode Island, $2,500 down. You should never accept that from a tenant buyer. But that's what I did because I understand the strategies. And I get to enjoy that property while I was improving my credit or, because I was self-employed, getting seasoning is what banks would call it. Next, I have time to qualify for the bank loan or save more. So that way I was in a better position. I get to improve my credit. I get to lock in my price today, so that way if there's any type of appreciation, I get to also get that as well. And then, I'm not going to share this with you today, but maybe we'll do it on Saturday, which is how we actually sell some of our properties on seller financing. Would anybody love to grow up into being a bank? Would you guys like to be a bank one day? Yes. So owner financing, being able to sell on these strategies. Okay, so then how do we find these buyers? Well, online marketing. As I mentioned, like if Rick sold that property in Exeter, I guarantee he was the only person on Zillow, on RentLinks, on whatever other major platforms there are, in the rent section that says, willing to rent to own to a qualified buyer with a sizable deposit. I can guarantee you, if you flip through Zillow, nobody else had that description. Would you guys agree?
Yep.
So now Rick gets to filter down from all of that 82% and now gets to pick and qualify the buyer that he wants to work with. So online marketing, local signs. One of the first deals we ever did, it was a gentleman who was in Middletown, Rhode Island, right next to Newport. Guy would drive by the property every single day and it had a realtor sign in the yard. He was a mason. He knew he could not qualify for a bank loan right now, so he never called on that property. The moment in which we put a rent-to-own sign in that yard, that guy had a $20,000 non-refundable deposit in our pocket and got to move into that property within 2 weeks and then eventually cashed us out within about 24 months. These things happen and happen relatively quickly. And then, of course, referrals. That's why we're in this area. Who are all the agents again? Can you guys raise your hand? Okay. Who are all the mortgage lenders in here? Can you raise your hand? Anybody that wants to sell properties on rent-to-own, typically these mortgage lenders or agents know exactly who the buyers that can't qualify for a bank loan today. How many times have you guys been carting around to a million different properties and then they'll be like, oh, actually, I'm not qualified. Well, send those over to your rent-to-own. Those are perfect people. because we're going to talk about the new way of doing real estate here today. I'm going to share with you how we federally trademarked our 3 payday system, but more importantly, I want to show you guys how to be able to actually get out of the rat race and start being able to get money today, money monthly, and create equity in deals. Is everybody still tracking with me, or do we need more beer? All right, this is now usually when you do like a round of shots or something, right? We gotta stay up. I told you I was a bartender. I almost get them rolling. I want to make sure these ladies get tips. Okay, so here's how our paydays work, okay? So our payday 1, so you guys can track with me, is a non-refundable deposit. So can we repeat this? So payday 1 is a
Non-refundable.
non-refundable deposit, right? This means that money goes directly into your pocket, HIP National Bank, okay? Payday 2 then is your monthly cash flow. Does everybody like cash flow in real estate?
Yes.
All right, so payday 2 is
Monthly cash flow.
monthly cash flow, all right. Payday 3 then is the equity that's built into the property at the time of the sale. So payday 3 is the
Equity at the final sale.
Thank you. Oh, you guys are getting really good at this. Let me walk you guys through it. Because we buy our properties creatively, I'm going to talk to you about that in a minute. We then sell our properties on rent to own at an elevated purchase price and an elevated monthly payment. So now we get to collect a large non-refundable deposit up front. This is how you create a risk-averse business model. How do you do that? You pull equity off the table day 1. Instead of waiting for it all the way to cash out later, we're going to get money today. It goes right into your pocket. This is how people can retire, because you're receiving large non-refundable deposits. We're not just counting on cash flow. Then we're going to create cash flow throughout that time frame, and then eventually these buyers, because we've gotten them to a point where they can actually go qualify for a bank loan, now they go ahead and they cash us out. We cash out the original seller, and there's usually some nice gold at the end of the rainbow. So let me give you guys some numbers now, okay? Okay, our average payday 1 is roughly $27,000. Now, we buy deals in 82 different markets all across the country. But if you go based on median price range and what we've been doing in these markets, especially in New England, for over a decade now, it's averaged out to roughly $27,000. Our average payday 2 is about $308 per door per month. And our average payday 3 is about $35,000. So it brings us about $75K per deal. Now, majority of these deals are those no money down deals. So if you invest no money, you make $75,000. What's your return on investment?
75,000.
It's infinite. That's what the answer I was going for. Yeah. I should have gave you guys more choice, or limited your choices. You know. All right. So this was a portfolio. Again, I just want to show you what this can look like for you. This is a portfolio of 20 deals in 12 months. Does anybody believe they can do 20 deals in 12 months? How many people believe you can do 10 deals in 12 months? So all the numbers. How many believe you can do 5 deals in 12 months? Okay. So then we'll cut it into a 4th. So just use that math in your head. Told you I was from Massachusetts. I crossed the border up here. I'm flying. I'm helping you guys go fast. So our payday 1s that we created, these were actual deals, full disclosure. They weren't our first 20 deals ever, so it might not be yours, right? We created about $600,000 in non-refundable deposits. That means that those are collected today, and they could be collected over time as well, as we help our buyers improve their down payments. But this is things you can count on. These are actually in contracts. We created $6,500 in cash flow per month. $6,500 in cash flow per month, and we created $822,000 in future cash outs. That could be anywhere from 18 to 36 to 60 months. You guys tracking with me? It's just stacking deals on top of each other. So again, this is 20 deals. If you thought you could only do 10, cut it all in half. If you only could do a quarter of that, 5, then make it down to a quarter. You're still doing about $500,000 in created profits. We have seen, it's not exact science, we've seen if you do roughly 10 deals and you're utilizing our strategies, you're selling them on rent to own, and you're primarily buying them through owner financing and sub 2, which are 2 strategies I'm going to share with you, you get pretty close to $1 million in paydays. And on Saturday, I'll have actually Rick walk through his portfolio so you guys can see it. All right, so what is actually buying and selling on terms or creative financing? It means you're not using banks, not personally guaranteeing debt, you're not putting down large down payments, especially in comparison to the traditional market. Like if you guys go buy a piece of real estate right now, this is for the mortgage lenders. I want to go buy a real estate investment property today. How much money do I got to put down? 25%. Man, 20, 25, 20. Okay, what's the interest rates right now?
6.
6 if you got really good credit, right? What are like the DSR loans right
10.
now?
10 for that.
10. Okay.
That's good.
So I just want to share with you guys, now that everybody knows what reality looks like right now, I'm going to share with you our deals in just a bit where we're getting 0% interest rates. We're getting no money down deals. We're getting interest rates that are anywhere from 2.5% to 6% of money that we're not personally guaranteeing debt. I always tell people, like, look, I buy multifamilies, I do fix and flips, done wholesale deals. Creative financing strategy is what I always offer first. Because if you get a deal with no money, wouldn't that be your first offer? Then go raise the money if you have to, right? So I'm not telling you here today that everything you're doing is wrong. What I want to share with you is how you can add strategies so you can do more deals with less money or less stress. That's the goal by the end of today. All right, so here's the 3 strategies. We got owner financing, subject to, and lease purchases. Has anybody ever heard of any of these strategies? Okay, we've heard of them. Has anybody, I forget, has anybody done any of these strategies? Which one? 1, 2, or 3?
All of them.
All of them, love it. Anybody else?
Owner financing.
Owner financing.
Trying to do the others, but.
Well, trying is a start. You're way ahead of 99% of people out there. All right, so let's walk through owner financing or seller financing. We'll use those interchangeably, okay? All right, so it just means the seller's your bank. So instead of you going to purchase a property and go and get a mortgage, right, or private money or hard money, you just have the seller be your bank, and then you make payments to them. It's actually one of the... Did this die? There it died. Oh, I think we got it.